Hello, hello Sagittarius. Welcome to your November 2020 overview reading. This is good for you if you're a sun, moon, or rising Sagittarius. And before we get started, take a moment to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Check me out on Instagram at Onyx Healing. And if you would like to work with me or learn about anything else that I offer, go to onyxhealing.com. Your wishes will come true. And make sure you sign up for my newsletter to get a reading every Sunday and stay up to date with everything. The link is in the description for that. Okay, I'm going to lay this out and then we will get started. Okay, let's go ahead and start with your oracle cards first thing. We have the Shaman. So what I'm getting from this, there's a few elements to it. So one is deepening spiritual practice, however that is. Think about the astral as being really, really, really important. Like your blueprint, your playground, all of the areas and spaces where you create from. I would double down on that in the month of November. So maybe think about get your energy right first. It's less about doing, executing, and exerting energy and more about getting your energy right. That's what this is highlighting, as well as body work is the other thing that's coming up. So if you've been doing a lot of emotional work or a lot of spiritual work and being really heavy on that, don't forget that sometimes you need to balance that out with body work. I find that if you're going really hard on one, you kind of want to temper it by helping it integrate into the body fully. So really, really focus on that in the month of November. And then we have Hyena. I think you're going to be revisiting a lot of things in November as well, because the element of the hyena is that's jumping out at me is their scavenger nature. And so think about maybe ideas that you shelved a while back or things that you put on the back burner, or maybe you said, no, I'll do it later or I'll focus on it later. This is the time to go dig up all of those old ideas and revisit maybe projects that you started or interests, hobbies, endeavors that you wanted to focus on before, but set aside. I would return to them. See what happens when you present it to yourself again, and just check in with yourself, or toss it out altogether if you've outgrown it completely. But do some investigating around that. And then we have clarity. Refine your communication. Be conscious about your true desires before jumping in. Remember, energy first. Witness, reflect, then move forward with purpose. There you go. Those are your strategies. Okay, let's dive into the central energy for the month. We have the Mother of Wands. So this is your queen, right? This is the fire queen. So let me see what the crossing energy is first before I read more of that. There's way, way, way too tight of a grip on something. Okay, so there's a few things coming up here. One, even though this is, you know, the Mother of Wands, which is really expansive and expressive, it looks like there's a lot of withholding happening. That's what needs to go. Maybe you're not showing parts of yourself that want to be expressed, either to friends, family, whatever audience you may have, or whoever's in your sphere. It seems like there's fear pictures coming up. There's a lot of resistance to showing or revealing yourself in some capacity or something that you have. And it looks like a gift that wants to be shared is the energy that I have coming off of this card. And so especially because at the core of the Queen of Wands, she wants to be fully expressed. That's like her MO, or archetypally speaking. And so the Ten of Swords is like what needs to be broken down in order for you to allow yourself to be more expressed. Because the more you express and reveal your whole self and kind of allow yourself to be polarizing in what you attract, the faster things manifest. So any resistance that you're experiencing, it's like that's what needs to be tweaked. And then what you have shifting out is the Three of Wands. This is like a lot of time planning and preparing and envisioning, but not showing up for it. You know, so I think the planning stages are over in some capacity. This is a decision about what you want, what your desire is, kind of planting the seed or making the claim and the desire known. So after you do that, right, the energy piece is important, getting your energy lined up, but that's also a form of expression, being the person who gets the thing that you want, weaving it into your identity. But in order for that to radiate from you, you have to reveal that part of yourself. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so the oncoming energy is the Mother of Pentacles. So this is a much more grounded version. I'm getting this is a graduation of sorts. You're going from the Queen of Wands to the Queen of Pentacles, or the Mother in this case. So there's movement in the direction of contraction to stabilizing and grounding it out. So whatever you've been feeling really resistant around, or feeling like I need to withhold this, hide, or protect, it seems like that's loosening up. There just needs to be a little bit of work done on that. And this is like emotional, psychological. So it's not so much tactical or strategic. It's definitely internal work. And then I'm going to clarify the Mother of Pentacles. Five of Knives. So you're in charge here. I'm getting any issues or perceived blocks that you may have been experiencing. Really, it has more to do with storytelling. You're the one who's in charge. So as soon as you relax and focus on staying grounded, getting your energy right, and getting yourself centered, that is going to clear up resistance so you don't have to fight so hard. I really, really, really think, based on this reading, you were spending way too much time thinking and planning and in the mind, in the mental body. This month is getting you out of the mental body because that's what's been creating resistance. And so the Five of Knives is like walking away from a battle. And the battle in this case is, you know, you fighting yourself, resisting yourself, or making things harder and more complicated than they need to be. So as soon as you get out of the way in that sense, you're going to be in a much better position. Now let's look at what's happening in your environment. This is all of the things happening outside of you. Okay, so the Eight of Cups. Maybe you get some feedback environmentally, or you revisit something where you have a change in perspective. I like the Eight of Cups because it wakes us up to what we need to adjust and what we need to change. And there's a very clear, it's very distinct in that something has to get removed from how you're approaching things, how you're doing things, the resistance that you've probably been creating. If you're making things more complicated than they need to be, your environment will show that to you. The way things get reflected to you will highlight, hey, there's resistance, this is getting bogged down, or I'm like creating problems, right? Sometimes we do that, and so your environment is helping you remove those bugs out of the system. And then we have the Mother of Swords. So this actually looks like a person. This looks like a helper or a mentor or a guide of some sort, maybe that you're either recruiting or involved with, or even someone just from afar that you admire. I think this is like a point of inspiration, and it's reminding me of the idea that if you want to get somewhere, then get close to the people who do that thing. You know, study them or work with them or get to know them. It's kind of like you want to be in that energy with them. And just as a model, right? If someone, like for example, If you want to make lots of money, it's wise to study wealthy people. If you want to gain more emotional health, it's wise to be around people who are emotionally healthy or seek that out. So whatever you aspire to cultivate more of, surround yourself with people or at least one person who's a point of inspiration. And then we have the Father of Cups. I'm going to clarify this one. Eight of Wands. Your network is probably going to be really important this month, from what I can tell. Or whoever the Father of Cups is. Is it a partner? Is it a friend? Is it your dad? I mean, whoever it is, it's like they're either supporting you in some capacity, they're adding to your fuel, or they're a part of your fuel source. So I think that leaning on other people, looking to other people is actually a really helpful way to reflect. Just think about other people as reflections or ways to seek inspiration, support. You know, it doesn't mean you need to adopt all of their truths, right? You have your own truth, your own ideas, your own process and everything like that. But I'm getting that it's important for you to get out of your own head in November, and so other people are helping you to do that. So whether it be other people who are inspiring you and making you self-reflect, or people who just know you really well who are giving you feedback, it's all in service of you really getting down to what do I need to let go of, remove, adjust, and kind of break down so I can be more fully expressed in the way that I want to be. Now, these two cards down here, this is advice, and it's also like what's happening inside of yourself. We have the Five of Swords. Again, this is the end of a battle, which is why I like this card so much, because it's about not having to fight and scrap and things being complicated. If things are feeling really resistant and complicated and difficult, try to find the parts of yourself that are holding that difficulty internally and work through that, smooth that out. See if you can shift into just feeling a little bit more ease each and every step of the way. And then we also have the Seven of Swords. Lots and lots of mental energy in this reading. So especially the internal, you're really going to want to avoid just drowning in your own mind in the month of November, especially with Mercury retrograde for the first couple weeks. I don't remember where it goes direct again, but it's just that deep, intense mental energy. It can kind of help us sometimes, but it can also be a thorn in the side. For you, this is a thorn in the side. If you're focusing on the mind, then you really need to put a harness on it. Don't let it run amok. That's not going to help you. You need to really be clear about what you want, like you already established here with the Three of Wands. This is you making the decision, oh, that's what I want to do, be blah, blah, blah. That's the direction that I'm moving. And then this is actually achievement of that thing, because it's stable, it's stability internally, which gets reflected to you in the material realm, which is the Pentacles piece. But you have to lay down the sword in the mind. So it's also being mindful with your language about what you say. Imagine God is a yes man. You guys know I say that all the time. God's a yes man. So if something comes out of your mouth and you don't like it, or you don't want that reality to be the case, you know, really pay attention to what you're feeding yourself in your language. It's one thing if you're processing, like process away. If you need to process or talk something out, or if you're having a bad day, you know, that's one thing. When you're making rules about how the world works for you, that's what you want to keep an eye on. That's what needs to be adjusted in the internal space in the mental body. Okay, let's do a 3-card pick. You guys know the drill unless you're new here, in which case, hello. But go ahead, set your intention, get clear, ask a question, ask for guidance, clarity, support. If you need more time, pause the video. Card number 1, we have the Hierophant, boundaries, putting limits on yourself, or like with the mental body. Put boundaries around that. It's going to be really helpful. It's kind of like the problem or the solution is in the boundaries. And when I say the problem is in the boundaries, it doesn't always mean you need to implement more. Sometimes we need to loosen our grip, or we need to make our boundaries a little bit more permeable, or not be so strict. So ask yourself, am I trying to squeeze myself into such a tight box that things aren't comfortable? It's interesting that I say that. I didn't even realize this, but this guy is opening the box, right? This container. He's like, I need to open this up. So you might be cramming yourself inside of a box and it's not feeling so hot. So see what happens when you just loosen it up a bit. But you know, address whatever you seem to be struggling with more, if it's not enough boundaries or too many. Card number 2, we have the 9 of Coins. Enjoy all of the work you've done. You know, this is also the other thing that you might be experiencing, is having all of this accomplishment and then just saying, okay, what's next? I need to get back to work, and creating that resistance and friction and frustration. And if you're not feeling fueled and inspired, it's like maybe you just need to enjoy how far you've already come. Maybe you just need to, you know, reap the benefits of your harvest, enjoy that, bask in that, and then when you're feeling full again, then try to pursue the next venture. But I'm getting off of this card, you might be in a bigger rush or hurry than is necessary. And it's like you can just relax, enjoy. Sometimes you can just be, there's nothing to rush into immediately. So enjoy all of the work that you've already put in. Card number 3, we have the 6 of Swords, forward movement, progress. Even if you feel or are experiencing a standstill, that's not what's happening. There's movement. There is progress. There is a clear path forward. So if you're feeling distrustful, or like, no, I don't feel like anything's working or happening, it's like, go back to acknowledging, what have you done? What have you done up to this point? What work have you been putting in? You know, really look at that, because there might be a lot of stuff that's brewing under the surface that hasn't fully come to fruition yet, but it's not an indication that progress hasn't been made. So this is kind of like, you need to reevaluate and get clarity on the situation that you're in, or whatever you're asking about, or have someone else reflect back to you what's actually going on. Because you might not be able to fully give yourself credit for how far you've come, or what has happened, or how much progress has been made. So really, really, really look at your situation through another lens, or get some outside reflections just to give you a different perspective. That's the main thing, is if you're confused or foggy or beating yourself up, you need a different perspective, another lens to look at the situation from. So I would seek that out. Thank you so much for joining me today, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure. Make sure you watch your sun, moon, and rising for a full picture of the month ahead. Don't forget to subscribe, sign up for my newsletter. I have more good things coming, so stay up to date with me. Check me out on Instagram at Onyx Healing. I am sending you so much love and support. If you would like to work with me or learn more, go to onyxhealing.com, and I will see you next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.